I had to keep the Superman. Nice.
Not quite. That's just a straight line on my head.
I'm in a punk rock band now.
I just got back from a Misfits show. It was tits.
We've decided to review concerts now. We just got out of the concert for Ben Affleck and the Accountants.
Woo!
The movie was so intense, we had to, like, switch theaters at the beginning of it.
Yeah, there was a few technical difficulties to start this one off, but I'm glad we still, like, we didn't have to, like... When we were maybe, like, 5 minutes past, like, start time.
Well, for the trailers.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, trailers start at 7:05, movie starts at, like, 7:15.
Yeah.
We walk in there, and the house lights are so completely on, and blank white screen up there.
I was wondering about that.
But everyone was just sitting there, like, it was perfectly normal. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe this is what they're starting this week. We're doing it this way now.
I just thought, like, oh, maybe, like, the pre-show stuff wasn't loaded in or something like that. But then I forgot. I was like, wait, it's like 7:05. The trailers should be on. I'm like, whatever. I'm going to go use the restroom.
Yeah, so he gets up to go to the bathroom, and then right when that happens, like, the manager comes in. It's like, all right, so we had somebody here earlier trying to fix Theater 11. Clearly that did not work, and he's already back, like, on his way to Peoria. He will not make it back in time. We can't show the movie in here. And everything else had already started going, I guess.
So I walk out of the bathroom, and everyone who was in the theaters is walking down the hall, and so I say, so, how long was I in there? Is the movie over?
Like, dude, you passed out. Where'd you go?
Damn, well, thank God I feel all right. So you
and thank God I would let you just, like, that happen. Like, it's like, it's been 2 hours. He'll be fine.
Maybe he just came in and sat in the back.
The lights are gonna come up, and he's gonna realize he sat next to a different guy with beard and glasses this whole time.
That has happened to me before. Where I mean, not for the whole movie, but, like, I can't remember if I was with you or not, but I came in and, like, accidentally it was dark in the theater, so I came and accidentally sat 1 row ahead next to some guy.
I think I remember that happening, because I think at a point, like, you kind of looked back, like...
Yeah, I did, because I think I was about ready to lean over to say something to the guy, and quickly looked over and saw it was nobody I knew.
Ooh, I don't know you.
Stranger! It was like everyone walking out of that theater to the next theater, because I wasn't there, so you were carrying my stuff, so you had, like, 2
I just
sodas.
had all this shit that I'm carrying.
2 sodas of popcorn.
I'm getting really thirsty.
This movie's over 2 hours. I'm gonna need 2 larges. Thank you.
I know I get a refill on this, but I don't want to miss anything. But,
in fact, give me an empty cup. I'll use that to piss in, so I don't have to get up in the middle of the theater.
Fuck me. The next time we go to, like, a 2.5-hour movie, I'm gonna do that. Like, fuck going out there. But yeah, so, like, they basically said, like, the options were, like, well, there was also a screening of this over at Parkway that started also at 7. So if you hurry, you can make it.
You don't want to go to Parkway. That'd be the Christian movie version.
Or you can, like, we can give you vouchers, and they're like, wait, hold on. Okay, I'm just getting this over my earpiece now. Like she, like, got into it, like, this is do or die, Diane. Like, we gotta nail this tonight. Like, it was a fucking, like, press briefing.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, no, okay, we're just gonna, apparently no one showed up for the movie that's playing in Theater 4.
I wonder what was in 4.
The marquee said something like high school something, middle school something. I don't know what the hell the whole title was.
I know, because I saw this movie. Middle school, the worst years of my life. Based on a novel by James Patterson. Matthew and I were at that last week. It was terrible.
That explains why there was no one there on a Thursday night to watch it.
Yeah, it does.
But, yeah, so they they're like, okay, well, no one is actually in this theater, so we're just gonna cut this one off, and we'll just start playing The Accountant over here.
Excellent. The Accountant was a better movie than Middle School.
So I'm glad that they did that, because, yeah, that would have sucked having to, like, all right, now we gotta go over to Parkway and then rush to get in and, like, probably miss something.
Or we just stay here and watch Kevin Hart. What now? Choices. Actually, The Accountant, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid action flick. I mean, it I feel like we just right there just like completely undersold it. Like, it's good.
For a movie, I said this to you when it was. I said it to you when it was over. I was
That's all. It's good.
It's totes legit.
It was an action movie, and there were punches and kicks. What more do you want? I don't know.
What the fuck more do you want from us? We're gonna talk more about the theater.
Yeah,
for a movie that honestly really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It was an entertaining movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, 'cause, yeah, it's like it basically it feels like the pitch was, it's like, all right, so Jason Bourne.
I'm listening.
Okay, we got this guy. He's like Jason Bourne. Like, he's even like doing sniper shit out in a field on a farmhouse.
Yeah.
Like, we'll even put in that exact scene.
Mm-hmm.
So we got this guy, and he can punch guys. There's a story that gets related in it where he kicks a guy to death with one kick, like it's fucking blood sport or some shit.
Fuck yeah. He beats himself in the leg with a stick before he goes to bed.
Just to do it. I guess, because they never explained what that was.
Yeah.
We're talking like James Bond level of wealth and gear, but here's the twist. He has high-functioning autism. So he's like the accountant. It's like a cool, like, ooh, like, you know, it's a cool, like, hitman name, but also he is actually like a CPA.
We talking Rain Man or Sheldon Cooper? There's a difference.
He's a robot who's good at counting.
Excellent.
But he's not a gay robot who's good at annoying people.
And in this, they actually say he's autistic.
But yeah, it's like,
I liked this way better than Jason Bourne.
oh yeah, this was a much more like solid film.
Yeah, it was. I didn't feel sick towards the end of it. I could tell what the fuck was going on. I gave a shit. Honestly, the character, Christian Wolf, who Ben Affleck plays in this movie, I honestly liked him way better than I've ever liked Jason Bourne as a character.
Well, and I think it's kind of interesting too, is that like he kind of pulls like the same move as Val Kilmer in The Saint. That
Yeah.
instead of naming himself like all of his fake names, instead of being saints, which plays into that, he names himself after like famous mathematicians from history, which is a very vague thing to do. I mean, I kind of feel like, I mean, granted, like he clearly felt he was never going to get caught at it, and so far he's been doing a bang up job at it, so I can't really fault him on how he's performing. But yeah, always using like having a pattern of names that you're using seems like a good way to eventually get yourself caught. Because he even points out the fact, and I don't know if that was supposed to be foreshadowing or just sloppy, that like subconsciously, like, you know, like, oh, he tell people to pick random things and they always use a pattern. Because when he was like following like that money trail, like, like see the second number, it's always a 3, always a 3, always a 3. It's like, yeah.
It was.
I like I said, I couldn't tell if that was like foreshadowing or if it was just sloppy and they didn't realize that they were doing the same thing he said not to do. Because that happens a lot in movies.
And it was something for the agents who were chasing him to find out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where he was.
If he had like, if he was just randomly like opening up like the New York phone book and just, bow, I'm Saul Gucciamini today. all right. Like, they would have never found him. They would have just had no clue.
I mean, granted, they still might have, because the problem that I have with this movie, it largely has a lot to do with that whole FBI subplot, which, to be perfectly honest, could have been cut from the movie. It really is kind of just there just to provide exposition dumps about Ben Affleck, and then when J.K. Simmons suddenly knows a lot about Ben Affleck's character...
I've just been playing this whole time.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you really should have maybe spoken up about this sooner. Like, it's kind of towards the end that he provides this exposition dump about Ben Affleck.
Yeah, but it's like, he's a ghost. We're chasing him, and all you can find is just puff of smoke and like a picture of the back of his head, and he's gone.
Which, that was another thing I had too. Like,
aside from the dossier's worth of information that you personally have about him that you just neglected to ever mention.
Yeah.
Like, you could have sped this investigation along if you would have actually told her everything, other than like, here's a couple pictures of the back of his head. You used the name Luce Carroll one time. I don't know, knock it out.
Even the back of his head. My first thought was like, did he know those cameras were there when this was going on and spend like this entire conversation at dinner and wherever the hell else he was with his head in that exact same position, regardless of if he was walking or not? I
was wondering that because at first it kind of makes it seem like, oh, he's such like a brilliant strategist at things that, you know, like, okay, well, he knows that there's a camera on that ATM, so he's going to conspicuously look this way while he's walking past it to always, like, stay off the grid. It's like, but no, like, I think, honestly, the reason why they had no clear shots of him is because of the fact that in any picture they were taking, he was never the person they were taking the picture of. Like, so, yeah, all the pictures of the back of his head because they're shooting over his shoulder to see who the hell he's talking to.
That is a huge coincidence in a movie that has a lot of really, really huge coincidences.
Yeah, it's just the sort of thing is like, it's like, so you guys had a guy up on a roof taking pictures of these guys, like, doing a shady business deal in, like, an airplane hangar, and, well, what, took a photo? Like, this was the only one? Where are the other, like, hundreds of prints that were probably taken?
Yeah.
Like, they'd have, like, fucking, like, hard drives full of these pictures. Like just put it on burst and just capture everything.
Yeah.
Like, nothing, just that one photo, and this is the best copy you have, the back of a man's head.
There's so many moments like that in the movie, and a lot of exposition dumps that it was a little hard to keep track of as the movie was going. I kind of got the feeling a lot of times they were dumping so much exposition so you really wouldn't have time to kind of think about a lot of this, because there's a lot of stuff in this movie where I still have questions about. Like, I don't know why he's getting orders from somebody who is also giving the FBI agents orders. I really... And then when you find out who that person is at the end of the movie...
It makes even less sense.
Yo! Wow, does it? Yeah. Like, wow, you just explained something to me by basically making me ask 20 more questions.
Well, I almost have to wonder... because you mentioned that all the stuff with like those agents, like, trying to figure out who he is and tracking him and all that could be cut, and legitimately, like, it never overlaps with his story.
Yeah, ever.
They're always a couple steps behind him and never catch up to him. So yeah, it's the sort of thing, like, I almost feel like maybe they made this whole movie without that part and then added it in to try to, like, help the script, because again, it can be completely excised. Like, there's never one moment where he interacts with, like, J.K. Simmons, or
except in the flashback, but
even then, it keeps a focus on J.K. Simmons' face, and he's blurred behind him. I mean, hell, they could have, like, had him come, like, they could have had somebody else standing behind him and then just had, like, called him up, like, hey, we have, like, 2 sentences we need you to loop, and then you're good.
Yeah, you're...
Because that whole section, it didn't connect in any fucking way at all.
Not that I really gathered in watching it. And the main, it honestly kind of made it more confusing because, like, if it just stuck to, like, Ben Affleck is an accountant who is hired by some really, really shady people, so he knows how to take care of himself, he knows how to shoot, he knows how to fight, because he was trained by his military dad, and then he's hired by this crooked, prosthetics company, to basically kind of cover their shit, but then, you know, the villains of the movie want to rub out any of the accountants who have kind of caught on that they're doing some laundering and shit like that. So, like, okay, like, that's a pretty simple enough movie. Like, I can wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
And that part of the movie, I can. Like, yeah, it still has a lot of, like, weird coincidences in it. Like, okay, they hired this one accountant who happens to be a fucking super soldier. But alright, I can go along with that. You throw in all this stuff with J.K. Simmons and the agents, I'm like, just... They're trying to explain things, but they're making it more confusing to me because I don't really know how they know all this shit. They seriously just come into the room already knowing information. Like,
yeah.
She comes into the room at one point already knowing he's calling himself Christian Wolf. Like, I just really feel like I'm missing something there.
She's just that damn good.
She's got the power of editing on her side. The power of subplot.
But, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't even really call the whole thing with her even a subplot. It was just a second movie happening at the same time. Like, it'd be like if with, like, Jason Bourne, like, all the Jason Bourne movies were him out there, like, trying to figure out who he is and dodging hitmen and working his way up the chain. And then there was also a movie happening about, you know, some guys back in Langley trying to, like, cover their tracks on the whole treadstone thing. It's like, if those two never intersected, that's the movie.
Or if you just spliced Bourne Legacy into Bourne Ultimatum, which theoretically you could. They do kind of take place at the same time.
But yeah, it's so fucking weird. Or like it's like how sometimes, like, they'll have a like a movie, and then they'll have, like, a spin-off TV show, or they'll have, like, a movie and then, like, a comic book tie-in or a video game tie-in or something like that, and you're always playing as characters or reading about characters who are running just slightly ahead of or behind the main plot, but never meet up with it because they can't, because of reasons. That's what this was. Like, it was just, they're always on the same, like, they're on the same road, but they're in two different cars and they never meet each other.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Like,
we're watching Vanishing Point. Every now and then it cuts to 2-lane blacktop.
Right? Like, eventually they'll have to drive past each other. Eventually they'll just... It's like, oh shit, that white car's really trucking. Where he's going.
With all that being said, though, like, I did find this movie entertaining. Like, I had my problems with it, but there is stuff that carries it. I like the characters. It's a well-made movie. Ben Affleck is so good in this.
No, he does really, really well. Anna Kendrick was Anna Kendrick in a movie. It felt...
I thought she was fine.
It felt so weird to me, though, that they paired Affleck up with someone who is so much younger than him.
Well, they never actually hook up in the movie.
Well, granted, but there was that lingering moment where, like, she starts moving in on him, and then he's like, "Oh, right, but I'm autistic. I'll start rambling about stuff."
It's an action movie. I mean, it happens.
I know, but it's just, I don't know. Like, it seemed weird. It's like she's trying to put the moves on him. Like, it's like, dude, you're young enough to be his daughter. Like,
the only thing that maybe weirded me out about that wasn't so much like an age difference between the two of them, because I guess I'm just used to seeing that in movies. And plus, it's not like he's John Derek. I mean, he's Ben Affleck. He still looks like Ben Affleck.
Well, yeah.
It was mostly because he is about 8 million times the size that she is.
And I think that is also a big part of it, is the fact that not only is he almost like 2 feet taller than her, because Affleck is a fucking tall guy.
He's still got his Bruce Wayne
but yeah,
mass on in this movie.
He's still like Batman size, so his arms are each the size of an Anna Kendrick.
When he comes in with glasses, he looks like he did when he played George Reeves in Hollywoodland. That was honestly kind of what I was thinking about in those scenes. Like, he will break her in half.
Well, that's why I thought it was kind of funny too, like that scene where they have in that hotel room that he rents.
Mm-hmm.
They're both sitting on the couch, but for some reason he looks smaller than her.
Oh, I mean, he's sinking down into the couch.
Well, yeah, and I realized, okay, well, here's the reason why. She's sitting on this very nice sofa, but she weighs 95 pounds. He's sitting on the same sofa, but he weighs like 300 pounds of muscle at this point. So he sinks like a stone, so she is almost a foot taller than him when they're having dialogue back and forth, sitting on the same couch. It's like that doesn't work.
What I like about her in this movie, I mean, I like Anna Kendrick better than you do, but what I like about her being cast in this movie is that she really is that kind of perky Anna Kendrick in this film, which makes it fun to see her react to a man beating a man's face in with a fucking sink.
I mean, true. She's in a different movie.
Yeah, that I really liked that. I really liked that her like quirky office romance has drifted off into this movie about Ben Affleck shooting people in the face.
Like,
oh my god.
They sold her on a quirky like rom-com, and she shows up and the first day pounds a man's face into mush. It's like,
That's why I that's why I like that she was cast in this movie. I thought they were both really good together in the flick. So I do like the characters. I like that it is kind of a slow burn. Like it's not one of those movies where you feel the studio notes because then all of a sudden this big car chase will happen. Like that doesn't happen in this.
I'm legitimately surprised, especially with this being as similar as it is at times to movies like the first like Born Identity and stuff like that. I am legitimately surprised there is no car chase.
Yeah, and I'm totally cool with that. Like, I like that about this film.
There was that one scene where he was driving a place fast. But yeah, there was never like a big like chase scene like it was like the Transporter or something like that.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that in this because it really is paced slowly like that and gives you a chance to really get to know these characters. It does make the sudden bursts of violence when it happens in this film, it makes that all the more impactful. Like, you have, like, here's a quirky scene with Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick, and then John Bernthal comes in and talks a man into killing himself. Like, it makes it more impactful. I thought he was great in this film.
Yeah. No, he did really, really well.
Yeah, I love John Bernthal anyway, so I'm totally down with seeing Batman versus the Punisher. My thing with that, I love him in this film, but you know exactly where it's going in terms of his character the moment he pops up in it. Yeah,
like at first I was like, oh, you know, he's another very well trained guy. You know, like those would be kind of cool. Maybe like a, you know, maybe they're playing for like Stallone versus Banderas, like Assassins feel.
Hell yeah.
And then there's like one more scene in between that's a flashback, and then you're like, oh, so okay, he's gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's like
don't worry, movie. I'll keep your secret until you tell it.
I don't even know if I could even call that a twist, because who wouldn't? It's like, movie, I've seen Desperado. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and then when it happens, it's like they both turn and look at each other. What's up?
Yeah, which that scene at the end between the two of them is a great scene.
It's a really good scene, especially after like all the violence that just happened. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I was cool with it.
I did like that Bernthal said, like, what are the odds of this happening? And Affleck almost comes out and says what the statistics are of this happening. I almost wish he had finished that sentence because I kind of wanted to know. But that was a good scene. Like it doesn't like, oh, they're both just gonna start shooting at each other or something. Like, no, it actually, there's really good dialogue between the two of them. It is funny, and then the way that the bad guy is offed at the end was also really funny.
I liked that the suddenness was appreciated.
There's one thing I gotta mention before I forget, and I'm sure you might have been thinking the same thing. When they make a movie out of the 2016 election, because they made one out of the 2008 election. Jean Smart as Hillary Clinton would be every time she was on screen in this movie.
Oh yeah,
she looks exactly like that, the same hairstyle, everything.
They shop at the same power suit store.
Yeah, like, is this her audition reel for like Game Change 2? All right. I saw her play a first lady in 24.
It'd be great when they come out with the movie Secondary Colors.
Yes.
You like that?
Mm-hmm. I enjoy that.
Yeah, nailed it.
No, I was thinking that every time she was on screen, and then my brain was drifting. Then my brain, like, I don't know, the FBI agent started doing something. So then in my head, I'm thinking like, all right, who would play Trump? Honestly, probably Alec Baldwin.
He's doing good so far.
Yeah,
he's got it pretty much nailed.
Mm-hmm. That can work. I would say this movie, because I mean, this movie's got problems, but I was never bored by it. I was frustrated a few times, but I was never bored. The performances I thought were really good. I thought the characters had good chemistry together. I really liked Ben Affleck's character. I loved his performance. I loved little things like him just blowing people away on that farm, and then just the quiet, like, wave he does to the people who lived there.
It's like he hits that mental note in his head, like, this is the point where you should wave, turn.
Yeah.
Keeps walking.
Shit like that was great. I mean, I'd say it, and it is a well-made film, too. I would say it'd be worth, like, I don't know, if you catch maybe a matinee screening of it.
Oh, yeah. It's one, if you happen to go out and see it in the theater, like you're not gonna feel like you got ripped off by it. Like, it's a solid film. Like, it kind of hits like that spot, like for people who are like us, like kind of disappointed with the last Bourne movie and waiting for like the next John Wick movie.
Hell yeah!
It's like, kind of gets you like that nice little spot in there, because yeah, he prefers, like John Wick, he prefers to shoot people directly in the face.
He will double tap you in the fucking head. The one guy who he just shot him right in the head is the guy, like, leaned around, like, the doorway. And then Affleck comes through and forgets to double tap him, even though the guy's brains are already on the floor. Comes back. Pew, pew.
It's like, enough, man. Like, after the first one, I'm pretty sure he's down for good. Like, you can stop shooting him. If he gets back up at this point, I think trying to kill you is the last thing on his mind.
You brought up a good point, too, before we started recording, which was like, if this movie doesn't do well enough for there to be any sequels or any kind of franchise out of it, like direct-to-video sequels starring Scott Adkins, hell yeah.
I could easily see, like, The Accountant 2 Tax Day or something. You know, like, some stupid, like, The Accountant 2 Death and Taxes.
Well, I know when I'm renting that weekend.
But it would absolutely have to be Scott Adkins.
Hell yeah, it would. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Scott Adkins is fucking great.
Yeah.
And B, I mean, he already kind of has that, like halfway between Affleck and Ed Glazer look going for him anyway.
Yeah, so. he could easily play the accountant. I would be so sold on that.
There was one thing, though, that It's the smallest detail in this,
Yeah.
but it bugged me for some reason as soon as I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you noticed this, but it's such a small thing, but it legitimately bothered me. All right, so Bernthal and his crew set up their little base of operations there at John Lithgow's house.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting like all kinds of like high-tech wireless cameras all over the fucking place, inside and outside. They're wiring it all into like this big like 4 or 5 monitors set up on this desk. I don't know if all that shit was already there and it was John Lithgow's, or they like just brought in their own gear and set up.
Mm-hmm.
But they're watching like the whole house on this thing, like, you know, getting trying to like, you know, watch for any any disturbances or intruders or anything like that. But then like one of the shots that kind of panned a little low, and across the bottom of all the screens was the taskbar.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bright blue with a big green button on it. I'm like, are they running this thing on Windows XP? Well, that seems dumb. It's like you're protecting Jonathan Lithgow, who runs a company that is building basically cyborg arms for people.
Uh-huh.
He's working, like, he talks about, like, building, like, it's like we're doing inventions and creating things and the neurostimulators for brains to, like, perfect them and shit like that. And these guys are protecting him with cameras that are wired into a computer running on an operating system from, like, 15 years ago.
It can't be that old, is it? Windows XP? I mean, I used it up until recently, but that doesn't mean anything. Windows XP really 15 years old? Oh, wow.
I think they're about, like, because there was 95 and then 98, then Millennium Edition, and then XP was right after that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would have been right around 2000.
It was Windows
2, maybe?
It was Windows Me Millennium?
Yeah.
That's the same thing? Okay. Oh, okay.
Because yeah,
No, I didn't notice that. I didn't. If I did, I wouldn't have thought anything of it.
I don't know. It was such a dumb thing, but I was like that was the first thing that stuck in my head. I was like, wait, how fucking old are these computers they're using? It's like, and no one, like, it's like, well, maybe they downloaded a theme to run it so that it looks like XP?
Or they just really didn't like...
Maybe the camera software has to run in, like, compatibility mode, so they had to switch it back to, like run as XP or something like that. I was like, I don't know, like, none of this makes any sense.
They just really didn't like any of the ones that came afterwards. Especially 7, was that right after?
Yeah, there was,
actually, I think
there was Vista and then 7.
Vista,
then
okay.
8, then 8.1, and now Windows 10.
I think the reason why I had XP for so long is because I really didn't like Vista.
Yeah, I was the same way. I kept mine on XP until Windows 7 came out.
Yeah, maybe that was the deal with John Lithgow here. He didn't trust Vista, so he just doesn't want to see what goes beyond
I build
that.
robots. I'm not putting it on this crap.
or the movie just didn't get sponsored by Max.
It's like, oh man, we couldn't pick up that Mac contract. So like, here you go, Apple. Go fuck yourself. We're using old shit because it's better than yours is what we're going to imply.
All that other shit went to sex tape.
Tim Cook realized, like, you know what? I'm done backing horses. I keep picking the wrong fucking horse.
Oh, sex tape. I've still never seen that. I've seen you guys' review. I feel like I've seen it.
You'd be safe basically just keeping it at that distance.
Yeah.
You don't really want to watch.
So many movies I feel like I have to remind myself I haven't actually seen like Son of God or Grown Ups 2.
I'm the same way though with like certain movies, but because like certain scenes and clips like permeate the collective, unconscious of the internet. So it's like last night I watched Deadly Friend.
That movie wasn't good when it came out.
It was not. Ask me how it's aged.
I saw you talking about it last night, and I was like, that makes sense. That I don't remember liking that movie when I was younger. I can't imagine it's one of those where it's like, oh, it just needed time to find an audience.
Yeah, no, that was one of my bad movies by good directors.
Yeah.
Although reading some of the history behind that one, fuck me. I'm surprised that Wes Craven ever wanted to make a movie again.
With that one? Oh, totally.
It was the definition of studio interference.
All I remember about that movie, I mean, I was in junior high or grade school when I saw it, is the scene everybody remembers, the basketball scene.
And see, and that was my thing, is like I've seen that scene before, and I kept thinking like I know I have to have seen this before. And then I'm like, no, it fucking can't be. I don't remember any of this movie. And then I started watching it, and I realized I have seen the first half of this movie.
Yeah. Because
I remembered the goddamn robot. Because I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I should throw up a thing on Twitter and ask people, like, hey, what's that movie with, like, it's a horror film. It's like, guy has, like, a really, really stupid looking robot that's yellow. And then I started watching this last night, and it's like, this is that movie. And then the robot...
Are you sure you're not thinking of Star Wars?
That's what it was.
It was the guy with the robot who was yellow.
Yeah, that's right. It was C-3PO this whole time. But no, I got like I started watching like this is the movie. Okay, so I have seen this. And then the robot dies like 20 minutes into the movie. It's like, I've never seen anything past this part. Apparently.
You just thought that was the end.
Because it was
it's a short film.
It was one that I remember catching like back in like junior high on like Monster Vision.
Oh yeah, I think when I saw Deadly Friend, I don't think I rented it. I think it was just showing on like USA or something like that. Or,
yeah.
Well, maybe not that, because I remember the violence from it. It was probably on like fucking HBO or something, or Showtime.
But yeah, I was really thrown by that. It's like so I have seen part of this movie, but none of the parts that I would remember.
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing. I've been watching, before I go to bed, I have something on the TV, like a horror movie for October. So last night, I just picked stuff randomly. Last night, I had on House of Evil with Richard Crenna from 1978.
Nice.
Actually, pretty good movie. They're all ones that I hadn't seen before. There was one I watched, it's like Legend of Sleepy Hollow, where Jeff Goldblum plays Ichabod Crane. It's a TV movie from 1980. That was a lot of fun. That was totally. There was one that I watched that. Oh no, was God damn it, what was it called? It was like Terror in a Haunted House. It was from 1958, and it used a gimmick called Psychorama, where they would have like one frame flashes of like random shit, of like subliminal scares. So it would be like this goofy devil face, or this like bug-eyed thing with a rat in his mouth. It looks really cartoony. Like you can't even tell what it is. You have to pause it in order to... I didn't know that going into the movie, so I'm like, what the hell keeps flashing on the screen? Is it like fucking like cut marks or some shit? Like,
it's like, oh, they forgot to take out the slate in this one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I'm like, what the fuck keeps going on? And then was like, Get Ready to Scream was one of them. I read what that was, but most of it, I'm like, I can't tell what's on the fucking screen. Like, I can see why this didn't catch on. Fuck.
I was just looking to see what... as soon as I get home, I need to watch another one for tonight.
I'll be watching just some random one I pick.
I'm on body horror stuff tonight, so...
You're gonna watch Josh Trank's Fantastic Four. It's really,
You know, honestly.
it's really scary. Well, speaking of that, tomorrow I'm gonna. What do you have to watch tonight?
I got a couple. I think the one I'm gonna go with is, I think, The Beast Within.
Oh, right on.
Wait, no. Still need to finish getting that. So, Altered States.
That one's all right.
It's either that or Rabid. I'm trying to think of what.
Rabid's the better one
Yeah,
between the two.
But I'm trying to think of like which one would be better to like immediately watch and be like, all right, Letty, let's go to bed now.
If you're already tired, you might not want to put on Altered States. Like, Rabid's way more entertaining. Altered States is okay, but like Rabid's way better. Rabid's
Well, yeah, it's Cronenberg.
Have you seen the two of them before?
No, I was looking. I'm like, well, I need to put at least one Cronenberg on here, but I decided to go with one of his that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, Rabid.
So I'm like, oh, this works.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Rabid's a lot of fun. I don't know what I'll end up with tonight. But speaking of like the new Fantastic Four, I think tomorrow I'm going to be at Max Steel. Looks like practically the same thing. Have you seen that trailer yet?
I have honestly not seen that yet.
Shit!
Like, I've seen it posted around like on like some different sites, but I keep just avoiding watching because it's like, I'm not gonna watch this.
Dude, it looks like Fantastic Four meets Gem and the Holograms. I can't fucking wait. They'll be clearing people out to go into that empty theater. Well, so yeah, I'll be at Max Steel tomorrow, and then next week I'm not sure. I can't remember. Any other final thoughts about, what do we see? The Accountant.
I was trying to think, is next week Medea?
I don't know. Maybe. It might be. It might be Medea.
Because I think it comes out on the 21st. So
that would be next weekend.
I learned.
That doesn't help me. I still don't know what I'll be at.
Fucking rot for all I care. Fucking Brad Jones, I don't know what I'll be watching.
Alright, I'll make sure I watch something shitty when I get home tonight.
Go to your room and you pray.
I'm looking forward to hearing how they work something horrible into this Medea Halloween movie. How's it going to involve incest or spousal abuse?
At this point, I have to wonder how many Trump jokes are going to be in it.
Oh, I hope a ton. All right. See you next week.